There's not very many videos out here on these 60s Lincolns. I mean, there are some on airbags and suspensions and stuff like that. But as far as the maintenance, tearing these air boxes apart, relays, the lights, the switches, all that kind of stuff, there's not very many videos. So I want to do, as I'm going through this car, I want to make as many videos as I can. That way it'll help somebody out. That's great. That's why I do this. I do it to help other people out. And I like helping people. So please hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. And come back and see me again. We're going to continue working on this thing probably for the rest of my life. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're working on the 68 Lincoln. We're going to be doing the steering gearbox and we're going to change the bearing out on the steering column that makes it shake a little bit. So we're going to get into all of that, so y'all stick around. Watch it. Got to shed some light on the subject. Go ahead and get this hood popped. Now you can't see nothing, can you? This is the area we're going to be working today. We're going to pull this out. We're going to pull the master cylinder out, the brake booster out, so we can get to that power steering gear that's way down in there in the bottom. And we're probably going to have to pull all these cables and hoses and everything out of the way. But we'll work on that as we go and see what we got to do. Let's take the tire off, shall we? I keep these old jars that had peanut butter in them. And while I'm working on stuff, I like to keep my stuff in these jars, you know, and that makes it to where I can find them pretty easy. They don't get lost or separated, and I can just set them up out of the way. Now this is the fender well under the driver's side, and this bolt here goes to the steering gear. This bolt here goes to the steering gear, and there's another bolt that's behind this. So you got to take this panel off here. These are a 1/2 inch. So we're going to go ahead and get these off of here, and we'll expose that inner fender a little bit more. I think that's all of them. Yep, that's it. There was one more, but unfortunately it broke a long time ago, and let's just say it's no longer needed. Wow, look at this in here. Well, if you look up in here, these are all kinds of wires that are going all over the place. You can check your wires while you're in here. Make sure that there's no bad problems with them. This is your power antenna right here and how it hooks up. But you can definitely see that hidden bolt is right here. This is the one you couldn't see earlier. So this bolt, and this bolt is what's going to take out that steering gear. And we may have to get to a few more bolts in here. I'm not real sure. I may be replacing some of this stuff here while I'm in here too. I don't know yet. It just depends. Depends on how much time I have, and we'll go from there. All right, up top here, I have a 3/8 that's holding some of these air conditioning lines out of place, kind of holding them up. I'm gonna put this back in here so I'll know where it goes. And I'm gonna get this to where I can move this out of the way. And that was a 3/8 bolt there, but it didn't look like it was stock, so I'll put it that away. Got this bolt right here, which is very tight. And this is bolted to the hood latch. This is just something to hold these hoses down. Alright, let's get these out of the way. I'm going to put that bolt back where it goes. We do not want to lose a hood latch bolt for certain. Okay, there's that. Now, I have all of this loose here, and I should be able to just kind of put something on this and hold it out of the way while I'm working on that. Let me find something. Now, that should hold it pretty good. Now we can get down in here and we can kind of see what we've got. Let's go ahead and take this off here. There, well, that come right undone. It's like that wasn't even screwed in. Okay, those are some kind of relays, I'm assuming. You know, assumptions are dangerous. But that's what they look like. I'm going to go ahead and move this box out of the way because it looks kind of brittle and we want to keep it intact if we can. May go back in with a couple of nut certs right there while I got this out and clean this up a little bit. Instead of having just bolts that are screwed into the firewall, put a couple of nut certs in there with some bolts and that'll help that out, I believe. Alright, this is a hard line that's going over here to this, which is coming from the windshield washer. Okay, so that's good. We'll leave that alone for right now. Let's go see if we can't break this loose here while we're at it. We're going to take this brake line off this side right here. Let me see if I can't get you a better look at it. All right, and we're going to use a number 12 to back it up right there, and a 3/8 to pull this off. And I already broke it loose, and it is a pain. But you gotta break it loose. You gotta have this this 12 millimeter and this 3/8. I would definitely recommend getting some of these. And you can buy these on Amazon, fairly inexpensive. But I would definitely get a set of them to break it loose in the first place. But I'm going to be replacing these brake lines. I'll make all new ones for that. I've got a video on how to make brake lines. It's already out there. Let's go ahead and get this bottom one undone. What size is it? Can't even see what size it is. And see, there ain't two brake lines on here. So that's the good news. One for the front, which goes to a divider, and one for the back. So that makes it pretty simple. We're going to put all new brake lines on here anyway. Now what size is this? That's a 9/16. Well, it's a deep well 9/16. We'll go ahead and try to get that in there. Try to get this master cylinder off of here. Let's go ahead and break everything loose before we get it too astronomically tight. Whoop, on my head. Oh, get you some of that, boy. Did you see that smoke come off of that? That thing was tight. It must have arced when it done that. That's kind of cool. What am I doing? Got a machine for that. It's two nuts on this one right here, if you didn't know. One holding that bracket right there, and then the other one is down in here somewhere. Okay, let's pop it loose first. Oh yeah, cooking with grease now, boy. Okay, there's that. All right, now we got to get the brake booster out. So let's go ahead and move the camera to another angle. Now I know from experience you want to be very careful with these vacuum lines and these little fittings that are on here like this. So I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to try to massage it a little bit to get it loosened up. And I'm going to put it just on the edge and try to do that over and over again till we get it off of here. Because I don't want to break it. That plastic, I don't know if I can get another one of them or not. You know? Be a heck of a time to try it, wouldn't it? It's very gentle, very gentle. And it's almost coming. There it is. I got it off of there. Now the bottom one, I don't think the bottom one's going to be too bad. Now that'll probably be the one that breaks. Let's see here. We're just wiggling it easily. Very easy. Very easy. There we go. Got the bottom one off. That bottom one, I believe, goes to the motor somewhere. Not real sure where. Somewheres. Okay, we got that off. Now, let's go ahead and get on the inside now. Take the dash apart, get up underneath the dash. And once we get underneath the dash, this should bolt up under the dash. And we should be able to just pull this out and go from there. Now this is probably the best angle I can get with the camera, but we're gonna have to pull this lower part of the dash out, and I believe it's a bunch of Phillips head screws, so let me go ahead and get a screwdriver and start on that. Start by pulling these screws out of this dash right here, and there's several of them in here. So we get all this done. Makes it a little easier though once you get all this out of here and out of the way. It only has 3 screws in this dash, which is, I would think, is kind of bad. Really, I would think that it would need more than that in here, but we will see. Uh-oh, I forgot I gotta take this out. This is the windshield washer. And wipe the motor stuff. Now that just made it all up in the way. I know you're thinking, why did you do that? That made it worse. Well, it kind of does and it don't, you know? We still have to gain access way up inside there. And that's what we're going to try to do. Getting that brake boost out of there. Now let's see if I can see what I'm looking for. Let's see if we can't get this steering wheel moved up a little bit. And we're going to have to go way above all of this stuff. Probably going to go ahead and take all of this out too while I'm at it. unplug this and the airlines. We know which one they are. One on the left, one on the right. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way. I think we can anyway. I think that'll give us more room in there. What size is? Wow, that brake booster's missing a bolt. We'll have to remedy that, I guess. Figure that out and get it out of there. There's a bolt right here that we're gonna pull out. And this is the air condition control right here. So I'm gonna pull that bolt out, and the one on the other side, I've already unplugged the plug on it, and we're gonna unplug these. This one's red on the left. Remember that, red on the left. And that looks blue, so we'll unplug those and we'll put those back together. But we're gonna get this out of our way for right now. All right, so I got tired of that thing being in the way, so I took some masking tape and I kind of moved it up and taped it out of the way. So hopefully that'll help me out. But anyway, I'm gonna start by pulling out those bolts on that air conditioner control. And once I get the bolts out of that air conditioner control, we'll go ahead and start getting the bolts off of the brake booster. You can't hardly get to any of that right now, so we're gonna get to a little as possible and quick as we can. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Okay, now if you look, I'm gonna try to get this where you can see it. Okay, let's see here. Where are you at? Let's see if I can't move this over a little bit. And maybe I can get this light on one. Where's my camera at? Okay. There's the bolt we're looking for. That's one of the ones on the back. There's the one right there that does not have a nut on it. So we're gonna go ahead, and there's two on the other side over here too. All right, let's get this joker out of here. Let's see, let's run some of these lines. I don't know where that's going. See if we can't get it out of here now. It wants to. It's tight in here, boy. Every darn thing in this car is tight. I'm telling you, right now, everything is tight. There we go. That's out. Awesome. All right, so we got the new one in, and it was no problem. I can tell you take the pitman arm off, and you kind of rotate it this way, and when you rotate it this way, it'll come right out. But I also had to reuse the rag joint, which I cleaned it up real good, and it's in good shape, so somebody's replaced it recently. I'm not sure who, but that's how you do that. Now, this part in here, this where the brake hooks up to that master or that brake booster, the little brake pedal hooks up to the brake booster, is a pain in the butt. So be careful when you get ready to do that. And have you a Pitman arm puller, because you're going to need it when you do this. You see that bolt right there? That nut? That sucker is stripped out. And I just broke the stud off of it. And I got to try to get that out of there so I can get the steering wheel out. This is ridiculous. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but I may go from the backside and drill it out. We'll see. So I'm drilling it out from the top. This is where I gotta go. Maybe it'll come out of there now. Let's see if I can pull this side off. That side ain't wanting to come yet, but it's got to be close. We'll get a bigger bit and we'll go a little bit deeper. You know what they say, a bigger bit works every time. I don't know why that joker broke off like that, but I can take and, it's supposed to look like this, but I can take and put me a nut or a bolt right there, same size as this one, and I can just weld it on right there and do the same thing, and that's how I'll fix that. So we'll just do it like that. All right, so we got all of this out now, and all those bolts are out. So we are ready to pull this thing. Now we got to get these two bolts out right here. Once we get these two out and these two right here, actually it's 4 of them right here, then we'll go ahead and pull this steering wheel and get this joker out of here. Hopefully that'll be quick. All right, I got my steering wheel out of the Lincoln, and it has a lot of slack right here. But this is what I found. I did not want to put the metal, I did not want to put the Tractor Supply piece of metal in there because I'm afraid it's going to rust and make this a whole lot worse. But this is what I found. This here is a leak kit that you can buy for a 1-inch PVC pipe. And you just glue it on this end and glue your 1-inch piece of PVC pipe on this end. But I think if I take it and cut this off about yay long and put this part here, it'll fit right over this. And I mean, it fits good in there. And it fits kind of tight, but there's nothing grabbing on it right there. But there's also very little play. And I believe if I can get that to stay in there, that'll be better than putting a piece of metal in it. All right, guys, I'm still out here working on this steering. And I looked at this a little bit further. This is the original piece that come out of here. And it's just wore down. I mean, the inside of it is wore out. So anybody that says this thing doesn't wobble in here or it's not supposed to be wobbling, I don't know how true that is because this is wore down. Now, it also has a dust filter that goes on the inside of this in between the two. But I also did a little bit more research into this piece here. And if you take this off right here, take this thing apart, Now this is what it looks like. You can spin that off and pull this out. And it's got a lip on it right there. And I can cut it off right here about where my fingernail is and actually cut it off about yay long. And that's a little bit thicker, but it should go right down in there with no problem. And it'll stay. I believe it'll stay. I just have to cut that little lip off. But it fits good. And the good part about it is it fits down in there so well. And it just has very little bit of play right there. Very little bit of play. And I think if I put some grease on it, and I mean this thing is slick. So this is by far, to me, better than putting metal in there. Now, does it need to be that long? No, I don't think it needs to be that long, but I think I can, I don't know. There's little tabs down inside of here. See if I can get it where you can see that. But they're somewhere down in there. You can't really see them, but they're there. Oh, there's one right there. You can barely see it. But that kind of grips on it and holds it in there. So, but anyway, I'm going to cut this off, and I'm going to make it a little bit shorter and maybe put a groove in it. Maybe if I can figure out how deep it needs to go, maybe put a groove in it so that that groove will catch on that, and then maybe it'll stay in there. And I'll cut this big lip off the top here, and we'll do that. And I think that's going to do it. I think we might have a new best hack out there. We'll see. I'm try to cut this right against that lip right there, and just go slow. We don't want to cut the lip. All right, there's that. And we'll cut this one off a little bit. We'll cut it off. About right there. All right, now I'm gonna deburr this and get this straightened up a little bit. We'll go from there. Probably a million ways we could deburr this, but good old fashioned elbow grease never hurt anybody. And that'll work. Maybe take a little sandpaper. And smooth it out a little bit. All right, let's go see where we're going with this thing now. See if it'll slide down in there. So this is the process right here. I've taken this off, this apart, and I've cut this off of this and this off of that, and I've deburred this and got it nice and smooth. And I want to show you guys how this thing fits. I mean, it is, quite frankly, tight as it can be. And it just slides right in there. And look, it's there. It ain't coming out. And look at the slack in this now. Very little. Very little. But there's no binding or catching or anything. I mean, this spins so easy. There's no play in it hardly at all anymore. But I think this is a winner chicken dinner right here. And it looks good. Look at that. I mean, it looks like it's meant to be there. Just to show y'all, I'm going to put some grease inside of it, but not on this side. Just on the inside. That's the only place I should need it. Just on the inside. So we should be good to go after that. All right, I got the grease on it. It's just on the inside. Going back in, this is the final time, and it is locked in place right there. And even if this comes out, even if it comes up any, it's gonna hit right here. It's gonna hit right there, and then it ain't gonna go any further. So it's not gonna get in the way. It's not gonna tear anything up. And this is a new rag joint, by the way, but it's gonna hit right there. It's not even gonna be in the way. So we'll see. But that fit perfectly. And do I think it's gonna go 1,000,000 miles? No. I'm 50 years old. I'll never drive this car more than probably 100,000 miles. And this little bitty plastic one that was in here, this one here, made it 130,000 miles and 57 years. Well, I promise you, I'm not going to be here 57 years from now. If I am, they have really done well with modern science and health. So we'll see. But I think it's going to work out great. I think that's a good idea. There's going to be no play in that steering wheel. And that's going to make this car a lot safer to drive. And that's what we're after. All right, we got the rag joint on. And that's what it looks like with the linkage hooked up for the transmission. And that rag it's solid. It ain't going nowhere. So I'm going to bolt all of this in. Then we're going to put the brake booster back and put that pin in. That pin going on that brake switch, that is a son of a gun. So let's get after that next. We'll go ahead and put this sucker in. That goes like this, doesn't it? Yeah. I gotta see. Everything's black. Well, I was working on this, and you'll see that's in pretty bad shape right in there. But this came in the mail today. I got this off of eBay. Now, they said they didn't know if it was working or not, but we're gonna try it out and see if we can't get it to work. I took it apart and looked at it, and I looked at this piece, and this piece looks good in there. So all the hoses and everything look good. So we're gonna try it and see if we can't get it to work. And I'm going to go ahead and install that before I put the brake booster back in, because it'll be easier to put in, because you got to plug in these air hoses on this outside firewall, and that plug right there goes on the outside firewall also. I get all this put back together, and that fitting right there is leaking. See if I can blow it up for y'all. That right there. That one's leaking. I gotta figure out what to do about that. We'll see. Now I'm working on the air conditioner heat/heater because the air conditioner works, but the heat does not work. And I got the new part in yesterday, and this is the new part. I'm not sure what it come out of, but we're going to take two and make one because the heat don't work on this one, but the heat works on this one. So I'm going to take the two and make one, hopefully one good working unit, because this part is good and that's really what I needed. So I'm just going to take this and put that in there and we'll go from there. And I'll put all this in a box somewhere and bag it up or whatever. We'll go from there. Well, let's try that and see. But if anybody wanted to see the inside of one, this is what they look like. A bunch of hoses and whatnot. It'd probably be a good idea to replace these, but I felt of them and they're still soft, so undoubtedly being inside the car helps. But we'll see. All right, so this is what I did. I took this one out of this one. Took this out of this one. It was good. And I put the one that was in here because this one won't blow warm air. For whatever reason, this one has 3 vents hooked up right here to the outside, which is 1, 2, 3. And mine, which is the original one here, only has 2. This one and this one. This one is not going to anything inside. And I don't really understand what, but that's what I've done. I took this one out that was good, the good one out of here, and I put it in here. And we're going to see how that works. Hopefully the air will blow hot. All right, there's where it hooks up on the inside. As you can see, the red goes to the left, blue goes to the right, and the hoses are actually colored on this thing. And nothing goes on that center one right there, or that bigger hose right there. It's empty on the inside of that box. Let me show y'all something interesting. You see this little bitty spot right there? I got to get that plugged in. See if I can get focus on it. That plug there's got to plug in the back and 3 air lines. So let's see if we can't get that done. That has got to be one of the hardest things that I've ever done right there. Let's get those hoses hooked up. All 3 of them are hooked up though. And the cord or the plug underneath it. What a pain. All right, so I got the new steering gear in. It works amazing. Oh yeah, it's blowing nice and cool. Now let's see if it'll switch over to warm. Oh yeah, it switched over to warm. Blowing good now. We got warm air, we got cold air. Exactly what we wanted. That's good. Oh yeah. That's nice. Awesome. Good job. Well guys, I appreciate you watching. It's been a fun few days working on this car. I've got the new steering gear in. Everything is working great with it. Nice tight steering. We also put a plastic PVC, we're going to call it a bushing, in the steering column. We also took the air conditioning box out. We took 2 boxes, we made one good working unit, and now the air conditioner and the heat both work just perfectly. And I'm really satisfied in what I've done. I've drove the car, everything drives good, rides good. The steering is so much better. There was so much slop in it. It reminded me of driving Miss Daisy. I mean, it was bad. But everything like that, all of that is fixed now. And I appreciate you guys watching. Have a good day.